Sunday, the church calendar transitioned to ordinary time. Many people think that ordinary time refers to the parts of the church year that are unimportant. It's easy to see why. We just finished celebrating Advent and Christmas, and the next church season our culture and many Catholics focus on is Lent or Easter. Ordinary time is not a time for us to relax and just wait until the next church season begins. Last week, we celebrated the baptism of Jesus, marking the beginning of Jesus' public ministry. So as we begin ordinary time, the emphasis in the Mass and the church's daily prayer is on Christ's teachings and his life among his disciples. Ordinary time is an opportunity for us to reflect on how we follow Jesus and his teachings in our daily lives. And with all the uncertainty going on in our world, now is a good time to focus on someone we can always count on, someone who is consistent and never changes. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Trusting in Jesus and focusing on being his disciple can comfort us in these challenging times. Our time on this earth is temporary. Our destination is heaven. And we get there by becoming disciples of Jesus, not disciples of politicians, entertainers, sports teams, or anyone else. Both the first reading about Samuel and his mentor Eli, and the gospel with John the Baptist and his two disciples, show how God uses others to help us focus our attentions toward him and to recognize his call to discipleship. For this homily, I'm going to focus on the gospel. John is with two of his disciples, and when Jesus walked by, he says, "Behold, the Lamb of God." The disciples heard what he said and followed Jesus. John pointed out to them, but they didn't realize themselves that Jesus is the one they are looking for. When Jesus sees them following him, even though he knows them, he's Jesus, he knows them, and he knows what they're looking for, he doesn't make any assumptions. He simply asks them, "What are you looking for?" They reply, "Rabbi, where are you staying?" Rabbi, which means teacher, is an expression of respect and acknowledgement that he has something to teach them, and they're willing to learn from him. Asking, "Where are you staying?" is a way of asking, "Where are you going to be taking us?" So he says to them, "Come, and you will see." So they went and stayed the whole day, indicating they were willing to be generous with their time. Andrew, the brother of Simon, was one of the two disciples standing by John. After his day with Jesus, Andrew went and found his brother Simon and told him he met the Messiah and brought him to Jesus. Then we see that Jesus knows us and calls us by name. Jesus looked at him and said, "You are Simon, the son of John. You will be called Cephas," which is translated Peter. Changing Simon's name is indicating that following Christ is a life-changing event, and their lives will never be the same. This is an example that knowing who the Lamb of God isn't enough. We're called to be disciples of Jesus, his witnesses to the world. Just like the apostles, we are called to know him, and we must be willing to follow him and learn from him, willing to come and see, spend time with him, live with him. And when we really know him, our lives will never be the same. And like Andrew, we'll want to tell everyone. This is a great example for many of us who settle for only knowing who God is, or those of us who are lukewarm, stuck in a spiritual rut, or looking everywhere else but to Jesus. Like many baptized Catholics and Christians, for many years I was satisfied just knowing who God and Jesus are. I went to Sunday Mass and most holy days. I thought that was enough. What else is there to it? Made this personal, so I kept my faith to myself. I declined invitations to participate in church activities. Then one day, Deacon invited me to a Christ Renews His Parish retreat. I told him I probably couldn't make it, and I think my wife was going to attend for us. And he mentioned it's usually best if both spouses make the retreat. By God's grace, I finally gave in to being invited and gave it a chance to accept the invitation. Unlike the disciples in the gospel, I wasn't looking for someone or something. Similar to the gospel, God worked through Mar to point me in the right direction. I found what I didn't even realize I was missing or looking for. I started developing a relationship with others in the parish, and most importantly, Jesus. I started learning, understanding, and living the faith I took for granted. It was a come and you will see experience. Pretty much everything that had helped me grow in my faith and relationship with Christ all began by the invitation, prompting, and encouragement of others. Maybe they just wanted to share something they value and help them in their faith journey to become a disciple of Jesus. Next time you're invited, don't just decline. Give it some thought. Maybe God is working through them to reach you. Jesus is always working through others to bring us into a deeper relationship with Him. And even in a pandemic, where it's difficult to invite others and get together, we still have opportunities. I'd like to remind you the parish has an account at forum.org. You can go to their website, search for our parish, put in your email account and a password, and you'll have access to many programs, movies, audiobooks, all for adults, teens, and kids. We should be able to find many programs to help us on our journey to become Christ's disciples. Today and every day, Jesus is asking you, and He's asking me, what are you looking for? And He's also inviting us to come and see. As we see in the gospel, following Christ and being His disciple is just not knowing who He is. Following Christ is a life-changing event. It's about knowing Him, developing a relationship with Him, following Him with our heart, mind, and soul. During this uncertainty going on in our world, let's spend this ordinary church time to respond to Jesus' invitation to come and see, with the desire and willingness to spend time with Him and allow Him to transform us into one of His disciples.